All right, Facebook. Guys, namaste. God bless. How are all of you, man? Happy Tuesday. Post Easter nightmare. But hopefully you guys are all well. I've been dying to get on, not dying literally, but I've been dying to get on with this segment and share with you guys because this mental power tool we think is so good can actually be our own kick-ass karma. And I wanted to bring this to you tonight, but first and foremost, a flashback. Today is National Jelly Bean Day. Is it a slow day in the National Day of Office? Is it really to bring about this nightmare that I've had to deal with the past week? If I see another freaking cannoli, I'm going to scream. I swear to God. But I'm kidding here, mind you. But National Jelly Bean Day. Okay, fine. The Boston confectioner, back in the Civil War, made them popular by promoting them as gifts to Union soldiers, and that's cool. I mean, I can relate to that. Back in the day, jacking down a bag or two of jelly beans. I mean, the colors, and it kind of gives you, the jelly bean actually came by the way it's shaped, not the theme of it, but. All of this came about because I had found this reel with like 7 or 8 powerful quotes, and I took one of them, and I wanted to share one of them with you tonight, and the meaning behind it, because a lot of us we think this one word is all kind of good, and it creates all in our life. No, this word creates everything, good and or bad. It's our own karma. It's our self-fulfilling prophecy. But first, it is story time here on America's Mentor on Tuesday, because I want to get this out before I hit the quote box, because it really it makes you guys think on how lucky we are. It'll help you understand what these guys went through, man. We're talking back in the Battle of Bastogne, France, 1944, World War II. Everybody thought it was the end. So these guys are in this field. A whole commanding company are in this field in foxholes guarding Bastogne, not realizing that there's a whole battalion of German troops just moving on up. But they couldn't see them. There was this fog that literally went all the way down to the ground. And mind you, that is during the wintertime, and there's snow. And what that does is it causes the fog to go all the way to the ground. As the guy was narrating his story, mind you, he's in his 90s, beautiful individual. I want to get his friggin' name. As he was narrating the story, he's saying, as the fog lifted, we saw a whole wall of tanks about 1,000 yards away. And he said the tanks started coming forward. And us as soldiers, I'm depicting him now. He said, as soldiers, we were in foxholes guarding the town of Bastogne. But this is an open field. He thought, what are they doing? What they were doing, they were on a mission. They knew the guys were there. They were on a mission to literally obliterate the last American battalion in that area. So they were coming at them full force, not realizing what was behind the tanks was a whole infantry of German soldiers. First, I got to deal with the tanks, though. They're in these foxholes. And these guys are watching the tanks coming towards them. And when they're watching the tanks literally take out these foxholes, and I said, I was watching my friends being vaporized. And imagine the feeling of an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid having to see that. He goes, all I could see were guns flying through the air. They're rifles, but no people, as these tanks were literally taking out all of these foxholes one by one by one. And he was up on a hill, a 400-yard hill, looking down on this event that's happening, just waiting. His commander said, wait till they get 400 yards and open up the house. And what does that mean? Unload everything. And what this guy did after the tanks went by that 400-yard mark, he saw behind them hundreds and hundreds of German soldiers, which basically became a slaughter. He goes, I was sawing people in half with my machine gun, but we were told to keep going and keep going and keep going. And here we are in today's world getting upset because our coffee wasn't fixed right. And this is what these guys had to deal with back then. But he had a powerful way to control this mental power tool that we have today. And mind you, that was a short depiction of this story. I might even post it on my wall because it'll give you a sense on how lucky we are. It'll give you a sense on how gifted and blessed we are to have all of this. This is what I say every day in my gratitude. Thank you for what I have because of people like this who gave it all, literally gave it all. And when this guy came back, he was living at his mother's house. He came back, and I'm gonna quote his words for you guys that are going through stuff right now and realize how you use this power tool will determine your destiny in life. It'll determine where you're going or what you're destroying. He said, when I came home, I looked in the mirror. This is at his mother's house, mind you. I looked in the mirror. I said, listen, you're not going to be one of those guys. Because he heard stories of guys coming home with shell shock from World War I and beating their wives and depression, alcoholism. He goes, look, I said, listen, you're not going to be one of those guys. You're not going to be one of those guys. You can't forget it, but you can isolate it. This guy was just telling us how to use the power tool of imagination. He didn't know about it. He just knew that there was some kind of storehouse in the back in the subconscious mind, but using the imagination to make it worse, or he can make it better. What he said, wait, you can't forget it, but you can isolate it. I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm an educator. You know, I always said the mind doesn't control you, it takes commands from you. We have utterly complete control of this mind of ours and our subconscious mind. But how does that start? With our imagination? He could have, and mind you, he didn't talk about this for 50 or 60 years. And I saw this old, not frail, it actually looked pretty damn good, depicting this story of what I just gave you a short synopsis of. He made the choice. He made the choice when he got home. He looked in the mirror. He said, I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm an educator. And he went on to become a 50-year veteran teacher. And mind you, I'm not sure where he taught, but whatever he was gifted with, it showed him how to get past what he had to endure. I mean, imagine how many people he had to literally saw in half with his machine gun. And that because he was told to do that, mind you. And back then during war, you were told what to do, you do it. And out of the quote box, 2 nights on this Tuesday, we suffer more in our imagination than our reality. And Seneca quoted that. There's not even a birthday for Seneca. He passed away in 65 AD. He was a leading figure in development of Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes virtue, hence bravery, reason, which is intelligence, and a living in accordance with nature. How did Seneca back then know about basically the law of attraction, quantum physics, metaphysics, all these things back then? He knew how powerful our imagination was. This guy, this war veteran, could have taken what he saw, taken mental snapshots of it, and started imagining ghosts and goblins for the rest of his life. And that's what he was talking about saying, listen, you're not going to be one of those guys. He didn't want to be a statistic. You got to ask yourself the question, do you want to be a statistic? Or do you want to use your imagination for good? Or do you want to use it to destroy yourself? Because every thought is a mental snapshot. Remember that. Every thought is a mental snapshot. In the 60, 70, or even 80,000 thoughts, depending on how hyper you are, we have every day, you can take a mental snapshot, start imagining all these scenarios happening, and in essence, you're creating those scenarios. So learn how to use the power tool. Learn how to use your imagination for constructive instead of destructive purposes in your life. Understand the power. Picasso said imagination is the beginning of creation. All creation in your life. Make that a thought to not take half-heartedly. Make that a presence in your life to realize I have this amazing power tool and I can use it for good and or bad. Life doesn't happen to you. It starts through you. And this is what I try to emphasize here at America's Mentor all the time. It's a power tool that we can't forget that we have. We can't forget that it's here as a gift, mind you. This is the God within us, our imagination. But how you use it is completely and utterly up to you. When you think about what he said, we suffer more in our imagination than our reality. He's absolutely right. Because we're taking these mental snapshots, hence experiences, and we're magnifying them. We're bringing them to the next power. We're bringing them to a point in our life where we keep recreating something that we don't want to create. You can't ignore it, like this gentleman said, but you can isolate it. Because that's what I mean. We're all in control of it, whether you believe it or not. We're in control of this mental power tool and the storehouse of the subconscious mind to determine what we want to think about every day. He had a direct emphasis, and he made a great point in that, because he could have come back from the war and with all those scenarios and all those statistics and actually believed in them. The point is, he didn't believe in it. He knew he was there to do a job. He knew he was there to do something to protect his country. But he also had a purpose. He had a reason to move forward. You got to ask yourself the question, what is your reason to move forward? And you'll be able to store those scenarios that have happened in your life without magnifying them. You'll be able to store them, to isolate them, and come back to them once in a while when the five senses trigger them. Does that make sense? This is the greatest lesson in life, how to use your own mental power tools, how to use and master that self, because we've all been through the fire in some form or fashion. We've all been there. We've all done that. We've had experiences. We've been hurt. We've been mentally, physically, spiritually, financially devastated in some form or fashion in our life. There are a lot of mental snapshots. How come we can manage some of them, but then we get annihilated by a few? It's the power of them. But in essence, I'll say it again, we have the power to isolate them, to put them away in the subconscious mind, the storehouse. But what deters that, what will bring us forward even better, is a reason to move forward. A lot of us don't have a reason to move forward. You got to ask yourself, we all have something to give this amazing life. Ask yourself that question. What do I have to give? Because in essence, you're thinking about something different. You're imagining something different. Therefore, you're creating different mental snapshots of a future you want to behold. You start feeling that with your five senses. You start living that every day. You're going to create the most amazing life. And understand that indeed, what Picasso said, imagination is the beginning of creation. What are you imagining every day? Are you imagining work being a big pain in the ass? Believe me, I may make jokes about my work, but my work is a gift. I'm blessed to have it. America's Mentor is a gift. I am blessed to have it. I make it as jokes. Believe me, there is no, disregard for what I do. I complain about it because people like to eat, man. But the point being is, it's my purpose in life to move forward with those mental power tools. Hence, with America's Mentor and my present work now. Ask yourself, if what you're doing is not making you happy, if it's not serving you guys, it's harming you. Try to find something that gives you the passion, joy, and peace in life. And all those experiences that you keep dwelling on, imagining ghosts and goblins, won't bubble up anymore, because you got something better to put your focus on. Get rid of the triggers in your life. Start focusing on your goals, your passions, your dreams. Most importantly, who you are. Because who you are is what you're creating, guys. So think about it. Happy Tuesday to you guys. America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, at America's Mentor on X. I'm getting friggin' repetitive and redundant with this, but I'm giving myself the plug, guys. Please follow me and subscribe. America's Mentor on YouTube, guys. Happy Tuesday. I'll say it again. We suffer more in our imagination than our reality. Ask yourself the question, what am I imagining today? Is it progress? Am I promoting myself or am I destroying myself, guys? Enjoy your Tuesday. Much love to you. I'll see you guys soon, man.